and welcome back to another thrilling episode of Off the Dome. I'm your humble narrator, Jordan Brennan. With me for the very first time is our talented tale tellers. Say hi, talented tale tellers.
Hi, talented tale tellers.
Amazing. And I guess technically one of you for the very first time, one of you as always. Look, once we start getting into multiple, like a combination of, it's all complicated. Anyway, Luis, Mayanna, thank you so much. This is so exciting. What are we, like 8 days out from Tales Unrolled
yes.
dropping?
God, I didn't even realize that.
8 days.
It's really exciting. Obviously, I have the most important question first on my list, which is, what is your favorite shaved ice flavor?
Oh my God, piragua.
Piragua, man. Yeah, Mayanna, come on.
Watermelon.
Yeah, I like coconut. Put something coconut flavored on anything cold and I'm happy.
What about you, Jordan?
I like a good like a sour green apple mixed with something sweet. Like you throw like a cherry in a sour green apple. Like,
ooh,
I like them smashed together.
I love that. That rocks.
Yeah. Obviously, I bring it up because in the world of Alma, very important delicacy. It's really cool. Like I got to see the first 3 episodes of Tales Unrolled. I'm just gonna call it Alma. I'm just gonna call it Alma.
Alma.
Great. And it's so much fun. It feels very different than like what a lot of it's very different from what I am seeing from actual plays, which is really cool. It also feels very strange to be talking to you on the day that the Pope died, because it feels heavily influenced by like Latin American culture and Catholicism. And watching the 3rd episode, Luis, you start to have like some like ashes. It seems to be like smeared on the face.
Yes.
And I was like, oh man, it's a weird day to talk about this.
It's weird, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But like I obviously like Luis, for you, like I'm assuming you were driving a lot of this story world, everything. Like what was important to you about making this story?
Oh my goodness, there's so much to that. To me, first and foremost, when I want to be a part of a storytelling where the story itself is important to the players and everybody at the table. I think that when we commit to putting that on the pedestal and nothing else, then a lot of magic happens between people that's in service to something that I think is bigger than us. My main question that I was asking myself as I was kind of developing this world is drawing upon things that I had access to in like family folklore and kind of what I see around me. I was curious about just connection. What does it mean to feel like you see yourself in someone else and come together for a cause that's bigger than you all? And another thing that kind of makes its way through is sacrifice. What are you willing to sacrifice in order to keep something important to you safe from harm or ensure a potential better future for them? So it has a lot of personal experience and stuff that I've seen and stories that I've had shared with me from my family, my parents, and people that I know, and the folklore. So a big collage, really, of a lot of different things that come together as a part of this sort of tapestry that I threw at my players. And the big thing early on was to create a place that is going to matter to my players, with people in it that are going to matter to them. And if I've achieved that in even a small way, then I know that a lot of the work will just start to happen on its own from there.
Yeah. And did you feel was it thrown at you? Is that how it felt at the table?
No, we had so many meetings. I think Luis did a really good job of getting us excited about the things that he was really excited about, and the specificity of, the species of fish, and like the town layout, and you know, yeah, like as you mentioned, the NPCs that we were really drawn to and stuff. It felt very lived in. So I didn't feel thrown at all.
Just
Yeah,
gently nudged into it.
Just
I mean,
gently
y'all
nudged
took it
in. Yeah,
really.
exactly. I felt
It's
very welcomed.
Yeah, I mean, I had the gift of having players with active and hungry imaginations that wanted to treat the world with this kind of like integrity. And the fish that Mayanna's talking about is the arapaima fish, which is a fish that exists in South America, and it's featured in the folklore of Alma.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'd say like the casting for it also feels very intentional, and I don't mean that you have an entirely Hispanic cast. I mean it is the hottest table I've ever seen. It's absurd.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's for fans of this channel. Obviously, they're also going to recognize Oscar Montoya is at your table. And then, sorry, I have terrible notes, which the names of people for some reason I wrote in the margin the other way than all the other notes, so I have to literally turn my
I love
notebook.
that though.
Then Cristiano Navarro and Camita Victoriano.
Yeah.
Just like. I mean, great role players all across the board. Really loved the first 3 episodes. Got to see everybody really stretch your legs. But also just so damn hot. It is a like, I know you're offering it as a podcast, but folks, you gotta watch.
You gotta watch it.
It's better to watch. Yeah. And
appreciated.
Yeah, and it really starts like, Luis, you're burning incense or like wood at the beginning of every episode.
Yeah.
You got the voice going, like the audacity, sir.
It's just too sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're burning Palo Santo at the beginning of every episode as a kind of, to me, a sort of evocation, a kind of conjuration. I think storytelling is I mean, it's ritual, and I wanted to lean into the gravity of that with the opening of every session, and kind of invite the audience in with that conjuration, but also, you know, my players at the table, us kind of coming together over this ritual. It's kind of, I don't know, it feels right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I assume Maya feels right in the room as well.
Oh my god, yeah. It's very meditative. It feels very centered. It's very focused. Everyone's very locked in. So, yeah.
You also get, it's funny to see the players because they're in the room, because, you know, they're in the room while I do it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you get scared sometimes. You like, because they're reading into, there's sometimes clues embedded into
there's
that.
a lot of clues. So me and Oscar will always be like,
oh. And Luis, you're just trying to do your intro, and you're like, "Wait, did they just? Everyone's making eyes of like,
oh yeah, no,
I think I've got
it.
like,
I can feel it."
It's so funny. Yeah, I will say, like, I mean, before we get into like the world itself, and I want to make sure that this is as complimentary as possible. It felt like fire, like it felt like Calamity at the like your intro of just, I was like instantly drawn in of just like such a like a thunderous like first like hit. Which, I mean, obviously, like, you were at that table, and you got to be the first person thrown to of describe your character, remember your mouth is full of blood. Yep. I know you've been playing forever. Did that impact what you were thinking about when you were like, I'm going to run a game for an actual play, having seen what maybe like the best story I've ever seen?
Oh man, I guess I'm of two minds in a way. I'm not consciously thinking of it when I'm creating it or when I'm in it. In my mind, I'm kind of connecting to these other things that are happening in my imagination. But on the other hand, I think that the experiences that you've had with other people and the stories that you've told with them, they're inescapable. To me, I think as we move forward as like a series of dominoes, there's no way that you are not affected by the dominoes that fell before the one that's falling right now. So I think all of the storytellers that I've had the luxury, the pleasure, the honor of telling story with, their fingerprints are all over me. There's no way that anyone who storytelled for me, there's no way that there isn't a little bit of them in something that I do. Brendan's fingerprints are on that. Knox Burf, if you know who that is on there. Ash Minnick, people that I played in home games. They're it's all just so intertwined. And although I wasn't consciously thinking of Calamity at all, or anything that happened there, I was just thinking of burning this Palo Santo and kind of conjuring this beginning of this tale. Yeah, I feel like all of those storytellers that have had impact, that have impacted me, they're all in the room with me.
Yeah. Oh man, it feels so appropriate for Alma as a setting as well, because so much of it is about remembrance and like the like honoring people who've come before you. Could you? I don't want to be like, give me the elevator pitch on Alma as a world, because that feels mean. But like for folks that for folks that are weighted down with the number of actual plays they are consuming.
Yeah.
What makes Alma special to the two of you, at least?
Ooh, that's a great question.
I mean, I kind of have my log line sort of as like things things that are out there to reference. I imagine, I would ask somebody to imagine Encanto or Coco for adults with Pan's Labyrinth in there.
Ooh, that's, I mean, who doesn't want that? My son, so we were originally going to record this last week. My son refused to go to bed. And so we had to reschedule for today. The only movie he will watch is Coco. That's it.
Coco.
Loves
so
it. Loves the skeletons. Loves skeletons so much. But it's very funny. And like, we'll be like, routinely we'll like listen to the music on Spotify, and we'll get to like one of the songs that is like on Spotify, like on the album, it'll be entirely in Spanish, and he still knows which song it is. And I'm like, because he's learning Spanish in his preschool, and like it's like, oh, this is really, it's really cool to just like see like that. Like I don't know how much of the story he understands because he's 3, and if he just likes the singing and the skeletons, but yeah, it feels it feels what you described feels right, which obviously would make sense. Anyway, Mayanna, for you, what's the reason people should be watching this?
Oh my gosh, man, why should they be I mean, your time is valuable. Why does anybody watch anything? I think you should watch this if you want to see a table of people who I think are exploring some very interesting questions about like ancestry. If you want to see a totally newcomer to actual play, Camila absolutely kick ass from the minute she's on screen.
I had no idea. What? She's so good. I had no idea it was newcomer.
She's so good.
Brand new. This is her first D&D game.
First thing.
That's incredible.
If you want to see Oscar Montoya absolutely lock into a heartfelt, lovely, deep, rich character, if you want to see Christian Navarro sing, those are the reasons I would say to watch Tales Unrolled. It's such a passion project. I'm so proud to be a part of it. And I think that it's a story that is worth coming along on the ride for. Yeah.
And you're also there.
Oh
yeah, that was gonna say you're also there. And your work is beautifully connected and generous to all the other players at the table. I feel like I'm cheating with my table. They're all such like, everyone is just so willing to be generous to each other and to just dive into the stuff that happens in that space in between in a really generous place. It's I'm lucky.
Yeah, I just like, as for DMs out there, surround yourself with people who are, look, Luis, I don't want to like speak for you, who are more talented than you. And like, yeah, and like you will have the best time ever. Like your players get to run the show, and you just get to be like, you just get to sit there and be like, this is perfect, thank you. I do want to know about Catalina and like the inspiration for your character. But coming from Sunday Spy Club, where you were DMing for absolute chaos. Number one, does that influence like how you're building your character building? Number two, are you going to try to convince Luis to let you roll persuasion checks against the DM?
Oh. I think there have been some very fun negotiations that have happened, depending on the situation. I don't want to spoil, so I won't get into specifics. But yeah, I
Yes.
think like tonally, and Luis, we had a lot of conversations about that too, like what kind of tone and energy he wanted to capture in this. And like, I come from a comedy background, but like, I think we've landed on a really lovely place where the story is taken very seriously by everybody who's there. And I think that like there's a really lovely respect and lovely like thoughtfulness that everybody took in both the creation of their characters and how they play them at the table that I think is very like lovely and very inspiring to me. And so it was nice to get to like rest in the immersion in a way that I, you know, try to capture as much as I can, but depending on the situation, it's hard. And so I think like getting to live in, you know, this world where the stakes are taken very seriously was very awesome.
Yeah. Also like there are funny moments as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
you can't put
there's
you can't put
ha-has.
like Oscar Montoya and you at a table and
No.
not get some chuckles in
No,
there.
you're gonna
It would
get
be
a-
impossible. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get a tee.
Yeah.
You're also gonna get a cry.
Yes, yeah. Which is what everyone wants from
That's
their
what we
actual
all
play.
want.
Yeah. We want to be emotionally devastated right
Yes.
after we laugh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You laugh so you don't cry.
Yes, yeah. And
Sometimes you
then-
laugh, cry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you go.
and then you cry anyway. 'Cause, yeah, it's I would say like Catalina then. Where did your I mean, it felt a very personal character, even in like moment one description, art, everything.
Oh, thank you so much. It's interesting. I think, you know, Luis broke out within Alma the different sort of like elders and the different factions. And I was really intrigued by the idea of a cleric who is maybe not quite locked in the same way that she needs to be for her responsibilities. Especially Luis describing that there's like these lines of promotion that like the elders look to the acolytes for the next generation of like who's going to take this over when we get old and die and different stuff like that. And so I was really intrigued by, I think the original inspiration weirdly came from Rebecca Bunch in the first episode of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, where she's about to make a partner at her law firm, and then she instead decides to follow her crush from summer camp to a different state and live there instead. And I think like for Catalina, it's like, what if you're about to make a partner and then you realize that's maybe not what you want anymore, and that there's another thing that you feel might be truer to who you are, but you don't know what that means for you. There's definitely across all four of our characters, and it was sort of by accident, but I think it was beautiful, and I think speaks to the themes that Luis wanted to explore. It was like every character is dealing with what they think they're supposed to be and what they actually are, and how they move through the world trying to keep up appearances or trying to like ignore these higher callings that are clearly, you know, trying to reach them. And so for her accepting like the church exists, but also there are questions that the church can't answer. God, this is really weird to talk about on the day of both day.
Yeah. Oh boy.
That yeah, like organized religion can function as a beautiful support system for a community, but that it's not ultimately like all that there can be to support a community. And so a character that is in conflict within that I found very, very fun to play.
Yeah. Luis, you seemed surprised by the crazy ex-girlfriend reference. Is it the first time you're hearing this?
I think Mayanna's mentioned some of the inspiration before. I just the way it played out in my mind it just made me chuckle.
Yeah, what is it? We take our influences and then they become something completely different.
Right.
And her middle name, Adriana, is the name of my partner's niece, who is bilingual and mixed race. And I thought that would just be a nice little send off for her. And partir is a word in Spanish which means to split, which is very thematic for the character.
Love a good thematic name.
Me too.
I also say, like, the set itself is also really stunningly beautiful. You do have battle maps in like a literal sandbox. It feels like, or is.
Oh my God, that's so
like,
true.
Which is very fun. I also say, is there a paw print on the DM screen? If yes, can you tell us what the paw print is? Like, you don't have to, if it's story related, but like what it literally is that you made a paw print of.
Is there? I'd never know, being on the side of the DM screen that I'm on, I've actually not noticed if there's a paw print on the DM screen.
In session 0, it's very apparent.
It's very pronounced.
Yeah.
I think that is just a, how do I say this in a poetic way? I think it's just part of the, it's a scar on the table itself. It is basically something that was there from a previous actual play.
Yeah.
But the paw print itself is also, I mean, to be honest, I think there was the option to cover it or eliminate it. And I think somewhere a choice was made to leave it. Because it's just another indicator of the natural world. And a lot of what was built into that table was this idea of it being a stone altar, but with all this greenery, sort of something primal and natural, reclaiming the space, and then something primal still, like evidence of something animalistic and primal sort of around it as well.
Yeah. But that's what seems like then very like unintentionally but like beautifully poetic of a story about remembrance and like what has come before you, to be like, and here's our DM screen from a previous and actual play.
Yes, built into the table.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I think, did I write it somewhere in my notes, or did I just think it? Who knows? The set does remind me a lot of A Court of Fey and Flowers in like the best way, of like really like beautiful to look at, and like gives you that like very ethereal, otherworldly vibes of like stone and, you know, flowers reclaiming it. Also, you know, who's not watching The Last of Us right now, and also looking at like world being reclaimed by things.
Nature's inevitable reclamation.
Yes. And then, I mean, I guess like with that mentioned, it also feels like, Luis, you're getting some like Abria levels of like advancing like makeup and looks, at least for the first like little bit that we see. Are we going to see more complex looks as the series goes on?
You will see that ebb and flow, and there is a dance that's done. There'll be days where I come in and I chose to not have any on my face at all, and some of it is, it's a dance back and forth between that. That's all I'll say.
Mayanna, how do you deal with this beautiful poetry that just like happens naturally?
You just romance the NPC he made, and then you don't have to think about it anymore.
That's fair.
Which may have happened a couple times.
We don't know. We don't know. Oh my God, yeah, Luis is lovely to watch, and has a great voice, and has just a lovely stage presence. So I feel like I'm learning. And also, like, we both come from like trained actor land, so it's been very lovely to get to talk to him about just training and acting background stuff and his approach to storytelling. So that's just been great. I'm having a great time, and I sit real close, so it's awesome. I wish I had a little webcam so that people could see my POV of the table, because it's awesome.
Oh well.
Yeah, I mean, look. Are you done filming? Is it an ongoing thing that's happening?
Well, we have 2 more days to wrap up what we're considering as like this first season or chapter, and with high hopes that we will continue to further this story and tell other stories within this world.
Yeah. Well, then, man, not too late to get your webcam.
I know, it's true.
For
I'll
the
get a
final
little
2
button
days.
cam, little spy
Yeah.
cam. Be like, this is my
Okay.
POV.
Just prop it right
Yeah,
there.
call up Pixel Circus. They've got to have your spy cam stuff still on hand. Is it scary when he stands up?
No.
Do you know you're in for it? No?
No,
Okay.
I'm not afraid of anything.
right.
I love it.
I'm ready. I'm ready
Yeah.
to kill. I'm ready to die. I'm ready to cry. I'm
Yeah.
ready to roll over. You know, all
And I'm
of
not
it.
intimidating at all. I'm very whimsical and approachable, no matter what strangers at bars perceive me as.
Whimsical, approachable. No, it's great. I think like the combats have been challenging, but not impossible. And I
Mhm.
think that like I appreciate the fact that first and foremost, Luis prioritizes like how those combats support the narrative of what we're doing. And so I think like I'm like, yeah, let's do it. I might die. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah. And look, if there's always the possibility that you've been dead the whole time. Look, the world really leans
have no
into
idea what's No idea what's
the
going.
name of the town is Seoul. Like it's
Yep. Yep.
it's yeah.
Yep.
I also say a really fun thing Luis, that you do that I don't know that I've ever seen is social initiative.
I love social initiative.
Where you have your players basically make an initiative roll when they're in like this like large setting, but it's literally to like engage with what they want to do, who's going to be part of the story first. Like where it's so good.
Thanks.
Is it a charisma roll? Remind me what it is.
Yeah, it's a charisma roll. And it creates a social initiative. The reason why I thought of this is because I guess I see not just Dungeons and Dragons, but all tabletop role playing games, depending on the system. I just see them as a series of mini games within the game. And in my experience, when the mini game has been framed clearly, then the players understand confidently how to engage in it. And to me, especially early on when a table is just meeting, some of the social interactions seem to be a little bit more challenging and a little bit more awkward and clunky. And so when you lay out the mini game of, hey, we're going to create a social initiative, and the purpose of this is for you to declare a 2-person scene. Who are you going to approach to confront them about something or engage them or ask them about something? And as soon as that's introduced, then everyone's like, okay, I understand now the framework, and they can take the first steps very easily and clearly.
Yeah.
That's what
Mayanna, is that how it feels at the table as well then?
Yeah, I would say so. I like it because you have to be very strategic about how you spend your time, and it gives you like, whereas I think in other, home games, you kind of have to just like see who you want to connect with. It gives a lot of intentionality to what you're about to do, and I think it also primes your scene partner as well to lock in with you and know that like, oh, this is like a big decision to choose to interact with me versus like another character, so it must be important, and I better like focus up, which is great.
It also helps when you're traveling. It helps fill in the time between point A and point B so that you're not just throwing random encounters to make it seem like the passage of time has been filled.
Mm-hmm. So true.
Yeah, it feels like one of those things that Luis, are you on Adventuring Academy this season? Did I make that up?
Yeah.
Yes. It feels like the kind of thing that I don't know if you did already, but like because there's a moment where you're like, pitch a new thing. It feels like the sort of thing that you should have like thrown in that episode and been like, we should add social initiative to Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh man. I'll just say that my episode of it, we had too much to talk about on my episode of Adventuring Academy, and so I'll just leave that at that. But yeah, that's a thing to throw in there.
So we'll talk snacks at Adventuring Academy. Better than snacks at Alma. I'm assuming Alma Table has better snacks because
Alma Table has way better snacks because the stuff that they had me try at Adventuring Academy should not ever be on anybody's taste bud.
That's fair. What's your go for both of you? Go to snack while you're playing.
Oh man.
I don't actually snack much while I'm playing. That's probably not good. I get so locked in that I forget to eat. But if I did remember to eat, it would probably be Chester's hot Cheeto fries, the ones from the gas station.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
They're in
wow.
a different bag. They're made of different things.
I don't know how to not eat during a game, especially as a player in a home game. When combat is happening, I get so much adrenaline. I get up and keep going to the snack table, and I basically just eat. I don't discriminate. I will eat everything, and I'm always the person that has eaten the most. But what is most addictive to me is just those nacho cheese Doritos.
Yeah,
They're so good and so bad.
Yeah, oh man, another son story because I just have it's all my life
Dang
is.
it.
It should be.
I guess Friday. Yeah, Friday we went to the grocery store to like pick up. My wife and I do smorgasbord nights where one of us goes to the grocery stores and just buys a bunch of different things, and then we have just like
Nice.
a bunch of different things.
Amazing.
And it usually hits like what coupons does HEB have for me to be like, oh yeah. Anyway, they had buy one get $2 off a second bag of Doritos.
Oh, great.
So
Fantastic.
came home with the family
Two-
size of
No.
nacho cheese and Cool Ranch because I was like, this is perfect. I'm so excited about this. And then I made nachos with the Cool Ranch Doritos and tortilla chips.
That's
Oh
great.
my
recommend.
God.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So
That's
good.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's the kind of snack that you know you've had too much. One of the indicators is where like your taste buds hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yes.
it actually makes my tongue go raw.
Your body's rejecting any
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
flavor.
Stop
Yeah.
eating this terrible thing.
Yeah, I have that and like sour candy like wrecks my teeth.
Yeah.
And like I know the point where I'm like, it's gonna hurt to brush my teeth because I've eaten so much sour candy. I have to stop.
Yeah.
I feel like we've gotten off topic, which is pretty standard for me.
Yeah.
Nice.
You've been here before, Mayanna. You know this is how this happens.
I love it.
Yeah, I will say like back to our beautiful world of Alma. Obviously, like ritual. Look, food obviously plays a big part in that world as well,
yes.
as it does. I mean, within most cultures, but obviously, like, you're drawing from specific cultures for Alma. And like, I don't want to say like what's the like for people like me. It's really cool to get to not experience that, but like get to see like that explored on such a fantastical setting. Is there thought when you're building something like this in terms of like, we want it to be approachable for people who maybe don't have a like direct connection to knowing these like stories and myths, versus like we also want it to be authentic and not pandering of like over explaining what the myths are?
Yeah, that is a fine line, I think, and I just kind of chose to not overthink it too much. I just imagine sort of what's there. What are they, to me, the fruits and sort of the animals that are nearby are what came to mind. And it's interesting to have a tour of it. I hope have a tour of it in the sense of kind of like what you might get if you're watching an episode of a National Geographic kind of thing. So like you get a sense of what's there, and then it can sort of more easily become incorporated. And there's, instead of a good berry, they'll notice that there's like a coconut kind of cookie kind of a thing, a cocadito that's in place of that. Little hints like that. I'm also to me, it was never lost on me that it is a table of American Latinos that are, in a sense, a step-ish removed from where that part of our recent ancestry came from. And so it's okay. I don't want to pretend to know more or to have lived in the culture more than I actually have, because I am a product of the culture that I'm actually in and the hybrid of that. So to me, I just kind of trusted what makes sense and what am I curious about, and what it gave me permission to just sort of let it stand on its own, if that makes sense. And to then also, I don't know, explore some of it with a kind of curiosity of the things that are maybe just outside of my reach in terms of my own understanding of my own heritage. Um, I guess that's how all of that is sort of fed in. I didn't overthink it. I just kind of let it exist there, and I hope it threads that fine line that you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it at least for the first 3 episodes, it certainly felt like that. It felt like this really like beautiful, lovely, not lovely, loved story that you were getting to share with not everyone at not only everyone at the table, but everyone watching as well. And like I said, that was one of the things that felt so different than most of what I see in actual play. Is it still is like a fantasy setting? Obviously, there's magic. There's big bad wolves that are out and about. There are things that only. I mean, it's still D&D, but it also then has like it's not like it's Middle Earth Eurocentric like storytelling, which is like I think like Worlds Beyond Number obviously is playing with that quite a bit with like Eric Ishii bringing in different influences to what Brennan is used to, and it feels like this sucks. It feels exactly like what we need. I don't know. That's that feels like I'm sucking up now. Especially like
I'll
yes,
take that.
no, please, yeah.
Thanks.
But especially like where we are at as a country right now.
Which we didn't know. We didn't
No.
know what was about to happen.
Yeah,
I think to speak to that also is, I think that in the session zeros and the conversation that we had like what I call a session -1 that was just a one shot within this a world that I had at my place, and I invited everybody over, and then a couple zooms to lore dump, and I like to do it in pieces because I don't want to overwhelm my players with too much, like a dissertation on the lore just getting sent their way, kind of pieces of it, introduce them to it as we go. But what that also allowed me is, because to speak to what you said, this seems like it's what we need right now, and I think that that's something that we should ask ourselves as players, as storytellers. Like, well, what do I need? What do I sense the player to my right and to my left and across from me? What do I sense they might need? And not to make it all about, not to make it like a circle jerk, if I can say.
You can absolutely say it.
But
I check the explicit box every time I upload one of these to Spotify.
But to at least check in with that, because we are all clearly, I think, if you really want to let yourself get to a vulnerable place, it does require a certain kind of bearing of yourself and of making a bid of this might be a thing I need right now, and will you allow me to see what might be what you need, and to see where we can still within this fantasy story kind of just hold space for each other in that. And so like I kind of was sort of trying to absorb the players as we talked about it in all these different conversations, trying to get a sense of what might be nourishing to them, or to explore, or heartbreaking, or hope making, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Mayanna, how was the circle jerk for you?
Yes,
so great. Oh my god. I didn't have the equipment, but I was a big fan. I was just doing thumbs up in the corner. But yeah, I think it was very cathartic to get to just explore, even just down to the aesthetics of the maps, something just visually very different, which was lovely. And the thing that I, struggle with as a mixed race individual, especially like coming from like comedy and like theater and stuff, is like there will always be the one that sort of needs to like kind of become the forefront of the conversation. And it was very exciting to get to explore like how all of our cultures, blend and mix, and how Alma, even within Alma, that the lineages are all very mixed, which was also just amazing and lovely and very exciting to get to live in that as well.
Yeah. How when you were building characters, I assume it was very collaborative. Certainly seems like it. It feels like conscious choices then of like creating those lineages and what was that? What was that process like for you?
Oh my gosh. I mean, well, because Luis talked about how within Alma there are elves, and there are also folks who have been with elves, and so everyone's got like a little bit of elf, and how that manifests is that sometimes within a family that maybe doesn't present as elf, there might be one person or a couple people who have much longer lifespans than the rest of their family, and Oscar got to really explore, I think, some fun things within maybe something in that realm. Leo, Camila's character as well, I think gets to explore what that means. I think for me, like with Catalina, she's delightfully average. I think she's a human. She is just trying her best, and I think that was also really fun to live in, is like an ordinary person who gets pulled into extraordinary circumstances. I think like as I play in so many home games now, which I'm so grateful for, I've gotten to explore just different aspects of characterization, which has been so fun. And so with Catalina, like the thing that I got to play with that I was really excited about is like a woman who is just kind of bad. Like she gets easily distracted. She's really awkward. She's very like insecure and very doubting of her own abilities and doubting of what value she adds to her community. And so that was a really fun thing to get to live in around Christian's character, who's a badass, and Leo's character, who's a badass, and Koja, who's a badass. Like it was very fun. I think, and I was very grateful for our session 0. We all got to play with like how we all know each other and what those community ties are like. Everything feels just very lived in.
Yeah, it definitely does. I will say, like, for people who wanted to maybe watch that session 0, is there a place on the internet where they could find that?
There is. Right now, the session 0 is available to our Patreon subscribers. So please support the show and subscribe to our Patreon. You'll get access to some more behind the scenes post-show talkbacks, which we call it. It's called Roll It Back.
Yeah.
Very good.
And the session 0 is live there right now. You could sign up for our Patreon and gain access to that session 0 yesterday.
Yeah. It's also like there's also really beautiful art besides like the set itself. You have like the Battlelands, but you also have like the beautiful character art. And Mayanna, you mentioned like maps and and all of those also again. I feel like they add so much to the world. Just like seeing Catalina for the first time, I'm like, got it, locked in. Like I get what we're doing here. Because I have seen early cuts of it, there were no credits on the episodes yet, so I don't know who was doing your art, the beautiful character art that you did.
Yeah, I mean, I have to try to access the list of all the different people that are responsible for so much.
There's so many.
Oh, the name Santiago? No, that Santiago's a character in the story.
Are you talking about the person who specifically did our character art?
Yes.
Let me see, because I assume we tagged them on the Instagram.
Oh, yeah, they are tagged somewhere on the Instagram.
Yeah, let's see here.
Let's find them, and let's give them the...
Illustrar. Adrian Ibarra Lugo.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, I'll put his little name in the chat.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I should also say, like, there is, of course...
Ibarra Lugo, that's his...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's wonderful.
is his handle. I'll grab that as well. But yeah, it's so rich, and the detail and the paintwork was so lovely. And also he's done a lot of work for Critical Role, it looks like, as well.
Yes,
I recognize
cover. Yeah.
The handle. about to pull it up and see. Do I follow this person already? I sure do.
I'll bet.
I love it.
Bet.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Yeah, it was definitely one of those things that like it's always nice to get to see art, obviously, because it helps, I think, like in storytelling, especially in actual play, where so much of it is verbal descriptions of a thing that is happening. You also have like a beautiful animated intro, and like we mentioned the other things that are on set. Yeah, I mean, how going into this, how much of that were you like, all right, here's the things that we want to, like, make sure that people are experiencing as much of this as they can.
Wow. So this is where I have to throw a lot of credit to the rest of the production team, which is Christian, the producers, Camila Victoriano, which is on the Sonoro side of things, and Christian and Jack Cummins, who is also behind the scenes of producing. I kind of had the luxury of just sort of sending them almost like vision board type things, or just verbal spewing, and they all Sonoro just kind of made sense of it and threw back stuff for me to look at, for us all to collectively look at, and from there it was pretty clear how to shape it further. I got to just vomit, and then stuff started to manifest, and I was like, yeah, I think this and a little bit more of that, and then here we are. With that kind of design.
I guess that also means like obviously, Mayanna, like you've seen your character art. You aren't done recording yet, for at least this first season. That means like, for a lot of these actual plays that they record like all of them and they're done. And then like when you're watching the episode 6 months later or whatever, when it's airing, you're like, oh, there's what my character looked like.
Yeah. It is pretty crazy. We will wrap and then like immediately it'll premiere, which is very funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like I've been very grateful for the production process on this one. I think that we did it in a way that allowed for us to really absorb things that happened and process them and strategize in different ways about like what we want to do next. And so it was quite lovely and definitely made me feel very supported. And we all do lots of things, so it was very nice to get some understanding there as well.
Yeah. All right. So season 1 almost wrapped.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone now wants season 2.
Obviously.
For the three of us on camera that have actually seen any of the episodes yet. But yeah, I mean, Luis, do you have like? I mean, obviously, it's an actual play, so you can't know exactly where things are going to end because. Mm-hmm. Especially with people like Mayanna, God knows what like wild chaos they're going to bring. I
will say they've had. I don't know how much they know, but they have absolutely been shaping the story as the story's been unfolding, as they should.
Not a clue. Genuinely, it was like that influenced that. I'm like, really?
Oh yeah. I mean, I leave after every session really inspired to because there's so much more that becomes vivid as I kind of hear it from them and take it and run with it. So there's so many possibilities already in my mind for how we move the story further. How do we move the story into a place beyond Alma? I already have started to kind of daydream that. Do we move the story into the future, or do we step into the past? Do we there's so many things, so many threads that they can pull on, and a lot of it is dependent, really, I would say entirely dependent on what the characters' motivations are when we finish whatever it is that we're in the middle of right now.
Yeah. And obviously if like Monday night or whatever ends in a TPK, things are different.
Yeah. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Then it has to be in the past.
It can happen.
Yeah, I will say, I was like, please tell me I still have it open. Of course I don't. The episodes aren't also like 3 hours long. They're like nice, digestible, like like you can sit down. It's like 90 minutes to 2 hours. Feels
Yeah.
like the ones
Yeah,
that I saw were.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that roughly what you're thinking moving forward as well?
Yeah, that's what it's been. It's about 90 minutes to 2 hours. And
Because time is a
occasionally,
valuable resource. It's a
Mhm.
limited, valuable resource.
Yes. yeah, that's been across the board where it's been landing so far every time.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, so we've got the Patreon, the Instagram we mentioned.
Yes.
Although I don't think we said what your Instagram is.
At
Is it
Tales Unrolled Show.
Yeah.
Tales Unrolled Show?
Yeah.
Perfect. What? And then when it premieres on April 29th, 8 days from now.
Yes.
Where can folks find it to watch or listen if you choose the wrong decision?
If you want to watch it, you can go to Tales Unrolled. We have our own YouTube channel. That's where it's going to be hosted. So Tales Unrolled on YouTube. You can subscribe and get all the alerts and all that stuff. That's where you'll see the visual version of it. And anywhere that you get your podcasts, you'll get the audio version of it. And it's got a soundscape underscoring it. So, there's a lot for your ears to feast on while you are enjoying this.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so excited for more episodes. Although I guess I'm assuming it's one a week. I have like a month and a half before I can start watching again.
Yes.
That's fine. Look, it
Get
was
them
well worth it.
stockpiled for the long drives.
Yes, there we go. I will be driving from St. Louis to Indianapolis to go to Gen Con this year.
There you go.
A thing I did last year as well. It's not a fun drive.
I take it back. Not nice.
Through rural Illinois, but I will have lots of time for podcasts. So I'm very excited. Amazing. Yes. Yes. It's going to be fun.
I'm supposed to be there too, it looks like. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it looks
Very
like I'm heading to Gen Con as well.
Heck yeah.
Exciting. Well, there we go. There you heard it here, folks.
Possibly.
All the cool people will be at Gen Con this year. And me. All right, gang. Tales Unrolled, Alma, you have to April 29th. It's so soon. Get excited. Oh man.
9 a.m. is when they're releasing it, by the way.
Great. That's good.
9 a.m. Pacific time is my understanding. Yes.
Amazing.
Perfect. Amazing. All right. This was such a delight. Luis, folks want to find you personally on the internet. Where can they find you?
Just put my first and last name together, and apparently that's not very common. Luis Carazo, Carazo, and I'll show up on all the different social medias, and you'll see my face. So it'll be obviously me.
Mayanna, I think it's the same thing, right?
Like, yep, Mayanna Berrin on Instagram, and I'm still on X, but I'm not really doing anything over there anymore. I'm on Blue Sky, but find me on Instagram. You can find me on all the other stuff through Instagram. That's where my dumb little face is.
Amazing. Thank you both so much. This is so exciting. I can't wait for more Tales Unrolled, and I don't know how to end an interview, so I'm just going to hit stop recording.